Welcome back to JUCO Jam. This is season 3, episode 8. Brandon, what a great week of basketball it was. An amazing week ahead. Mr. Goebel, thanks for being here.
Yeah, great week. Some of the big boys seem to be kind of separating themselves a little bit from the pack, but we got some teams that close like a freight train, if you will, that are saying, "Hey, not so fast. We're here to make some noise. See if we can crawl into that at-large discussion." And one of those teams, we'll talk to their coach later on, and we'll see what happens.
Surging, absolutely. Let's get right into the rewind, if we shall. Tuesday night, big game down in Mississippi. Itawamba defeats Northeast Mississippi 95 to 87. Northeast Mississippi no longer in the unbeaten ranks. They were the final Division One unbeaten. And then Itawamba celebrates by losing to Pearl River later in the week. Too much fun during the game. Tyler Bird, 24 points for Northeast Mississippi. Demarion Winston with 28 points, hit 5 threes. And almost undoubtedly an first-team All-American, A.J. Dent with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. On Saturday night, big game in Burlington, tropical Burlington, Iowa. Moberly grinded a 60 to 57 win. Southeastern, they're not ranked, they're not receiving votes. They only have 4 losses on the season. Uh, Moberly twice, Triton, Indian Hills. However, 3 of those 4 losses were blowouts. This was the first loss in single digits. But Aid Papula, Brandon, is he a National Player of the Year candidate? 24 points, 11 rebounds. He's hitting threes. He hit 4 out of 5. Those first 2 games there, what stood out to you the most?
Well, first off, I refer to it as Mississippi Mondays on Tuesdays now. So
I know. That was a change of pace.
yeah, that's just what I'm gonna refer to
Monday,
it.
Thursday. Yeah, Monday, Thursday. Stick to the script.
Let's get to the script. Um, Itawamba is a very, very, very good team. Northeast Mississippi is always talented. Cordwright does a great job there. I think Itawamba has a number of Division I players on that roster. I think they're a team that if they were to come into Hutch, they got a fighting chance to beat, win a
Anybody. Yeah.
couple games. Yeah.
Yeah. Both of
So
those teams, really, right? I mean, there's some teams in Mississippi that you don't want to see in the national tournament.
no, I mean, really, you go down the list of like who's in that region and who could come out of it, and there's a bunch of them that nobody's going to want to see. AJ Dent has been fantastic. Kind of like a just a consistent,
He's
performer for
JUCO. He's JUCO James Harden.
the. Yes, yes, I like it.
JUCO James, no beard.
And yeah, Adi Papula, to checking in with Moberly there. Yeah, there's him. There's guys like Isaac Finlinson. There's going to be some players at that kind of top end that are
Top
just
10-ish, right? Top 10,
night
15-ish, like in
in,
the
night
mix.
out, like, performing at a level that statistically is special, but also, they're winning big games and they're
Yeah.
up at the top of those ranks. So, if you said right now, like, hey, tell me who's going to win National Player of the Year, like, I honestly would have 7 or 8 names to give you.
Yeah. I would just yell out pass and hope there was a follow-up.
Next question.
Pretend it's like a fun game show. Just yell pass.
Right.
All right. Moving right along, Brandon. Saturday night, Chipola 67-57 over Northwest Florida. No stats available for Chipola, but Davion Hill, one of our favorite freshmen, 18 points, 7 boards. Dwayne Pierce with 11 for Northwest Florida. I mean, when DeMayo and Tyndall get together, it's going to be a slugfest. You didn't think there'd be really any chance that either team would get into the 70s. And last night on Whack Jack Mondays, we have South Plains routes Frank Phillips, and then Murray State at home beats NEO. Murray State looks terrific. A big win. Murray State moves to 16-3 on the season.
Yeah, that South Plains Frank Phillips game. Not that it's surprising that South Plains wins the game. Maybe a little surprising that they won it in the fashion that they did. But both of those teams are absolutely loaded, and on any night, that can go back and forth one way or the other. If they play 10 times, they might go 5-5. So two really good teams, really well coached teams. And then that NEO at Murray State game was big. Josh is doing a great job at Murray State. We're going to talk to him a little bit later about like his scheduling and things like that, so that when they get big wins like this later in the season, what he did earlier in the season, I think should actually, really help.
I think it's paying off right now.
Yeah, 100%. Not only does it help them as far as like their ability to compete in big games like that, but this is a team that's wanting to try and find a way into that at-large discussion. And so now as you start putting together, the holistic look at what they've done on the season, there's a very valid argument there to make. And so, if they can stack some wins here going forward in league play, they should be able to chip away at that pretty handily.
Let's transition into the rundown as we look at the week ahead. And Brandon, what a fun week ahead it is. Wednesday night, Mineral Area at Moberly, Angelina at Panola. These are both going to be rematch games. What gets you most excited about Wednesday night in JUCO hoops?
Mineral Moberly is always a great game, but like this Angelina Panola game is interesting because everybody's kind of looking around going, Ange, what?
The
Um,
Roadrunners.
the Roadrunners just meeping out of nowhere to really climbing up those rankings right now and playing great basketball. So Panola at Panola especially is a tall task. Just an absolutely loaded roster, but like this is a huge opportunity for Angelina to grab like this big signature road victory and kind of establish
Could they
themselves.
possibly sweep the ponies? That'd be big. And I'll just say Brandon loves swag for anybody at Angelina. If they have some Roadrunner swag they'd like to throw at the brand, and you can DM him directly on Twitter,
Who
and
doesn't
we'll
love a
get some.
meat meat? Come on.
And yeah, we should be supporting that. Thursday night, Brandon, huge night in JUCO hoops. We have the Battle of Buddy Hammer, NEO at Connors State, and then we have Odessa South Plains, Snow at CSI. What gets you the most excited about Thursday night, Brandon?
I mean, the Battle of Buddy Hammer is a good one. I know we'll be tuned into that. Odessa at South Plains. Odessa needs a big one here. That's a tough ask, but Bucket will have.
If you take out the JUCO Jam Jinx stretch that we put up on Coach Bucket, Odessa's probably a top five team, right?
Yeah,
They had that stretch that we're directly responsible for. I'm sure the NJCAA selection committee will take that into consideration.
we'll put some notes in there for Tom to disperse uh, on yellow legal pad.
Coach Bucket, we love you. I'm sorry.
We didn't mean to.
We didn't
Um,
we didn't mean to take you down that hard. But Odessa's playing terrific basketball right now. Here's a question for you, Brandon. Will either team get to 60?
oh boy, yes. The answer is
Okay. Yes.
yeah.
First one to
That's
60
because
wins.
Odessa has actually found some ways that if they get
Right.
into scoring night, then
74 last night, I believe.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay.
they can
All
put the
right.
orange through the orange thing.
Saturday, Brandon. I'm going to give you three at a time here because it's a big Saturday. The 4 o'clock slate is going to be packed.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Round one, we got Georgia Highlands at South Georgia State. We mentioned Georgia because we don't hate Georgia, but this is a game worth mentioning. Region 24, Vincennes at John A. Logan. Once again, the JUCO Jam Jinx hit Coach Tyler Smith Peters in a loss against Rend Lake. You take out the JUCO Jam Jinx, playing good basketball game. I expect this to be a really close game. And then finally, Southeastern at Triton. Out of those three, what do you think's the best storyline there that gets you the most excited?
Triton, given the region that they're in, needs wins, the non-conference wins and the kind of regional, not within their region, but regional uh wins against these really good teams that they have on their slate. And so Southeastern is a very good team. They're going to be looking for a revenge game here. So Triton, they're Triton, right? Since they've turned Division One, they've been a perennial power.
Our, yeah, Triton's going
Absolutely.
to Triton, as they say.
Triton gonna Triton. And so grabbing a win against Southeastern here is something that, they really do need because from a conference standpoint, they just, they play in a conference that doesn't give them a lot of big opportunities for significant victories. So I think that's kind of the main one for me.
And then finally, our ending trifecta, Barton at Cali, Snow at North Idaho. Many people have gone to Coeur d'Alene. Few people leave with a win. And then in the Panhandle, Pensacola at Chipola. Where's your bread buttered Saturday night in JUCO hoops, Brandon?
Oh man, Jayhawk just clash here. Barton Cowley. That's going to be the one that I'm really tuned into. I watch every snow game because it's so fun to watch them play. They're at CSI, they're at North Idaho this week. Like this is actually from a storyline perspective where sometimes teams will trip up, right? Where they're riding high. They're winning the home games. They're ready to go. And then all of a sudden, you got one of these really sneaky tough road trips. A lot of bus travel there to get up to Old Coeur d'Alene, and that would be
Snow's not taking no bus.
you know what? We're gonna leave it as the narrative there because it sounds tough. Nothing sounds tough about getting on a CRJ 200 and popping up to Coeur d'Alene. So, yeah, Snow's road trip this week is going to be a tough one.
I have on good accounts that they're actually going to hike the last 10 to 20 miles. The Isaacs will lead the way
Isaac Finlinson and Isaac Garrett are going to
side
lead
by side,
side by side, like a couple of huskies in the snow.
like a couple of angry badgers
A
looking for
couple
wind.
angry badgers dragging the sled to Coeur
You know,
d'Alene.
it's really interesting because Snow beat CSI within an inch of their life recently, right? And North Idaho just drove a spike through Salt Lake's heart, and I think Salt Lake basically quit, right? So you have two teams that are just killing people right now who are going to go to head in a classic scenic West clash. Super excited for this game. This is going to be like Royal Rumble. Two enter, one will come out. Um, Stay with us. Believe it or not, Brandon, we actually got a coach who was willing to come on and talk about their program, and that's going to be Coach Josh Davis of Murray State. He wasn't afraid of the JUCO Jam jinx. They went out, they beat NEO. We're going to talk all about it next.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are so excited to have Coach Josh Davis from Murray State with us today. Coach Davis, thank you so much for coming on JUCO Jam.
Well, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
You know,
Nick,
we
before we get
really
started, I got to mention, um, good on us for not JUCO Jam jinxing him, inviting you on before a huge game. So I feel like there's some credit due our
You're
way, but that's fine. We'll talk about it
getting
later.
all the credit, Brandon.
You know what I think I like most about Coach Davis is I'm going to be honest with you. We reached a point where 3 years in, the JUCO Jam jinx had really picked up steam to a really inappropriate level where coaches were actually reaching out to me and asking us if we could interview the head coach of the team they were playing that week. They were trying to reverse jinx it. And I think because we had literally three or four coaches reach out to us, the fact that you said, yes, I will come on JUCO Jam. I'm not afraid of the jinx. I feel somehow it's kind of like in Major League when Serrano had to sacrifice the live chicken. I feel like somehow the jinx is dead now, and it's because of you. So, Coach,
It was
thank
like
you.
the Independence Day speech. We shall not go quietly into the night, said Coach Josh Davis in the
So,
empty arena as everybody's looking. What is he talking about?
so for those who may not be aware, Coach Davis, the Dragon Slayer himself, took down sixth-ranked NEO last night in a great game. Just talk a little bit about your team. You've had a great season. You're 16-3. I think you're in a great spot. What do you like the most about your team this year, Coach?
What I like the most about my team is that they're resilient. They are really about the things that we try to preach, like the toughness, the grit, being great teammates. They have a ton of character. Sometimes they're not as focused as they need to be, but I have to give them credit when the ball is tipped up. They are doing everything that they can to come out with a victory. And so that we've just had multiple games where we've had to figure it out and pivot and do different things. And they're flexible, they're malleable, and they find a way to get it done.
Someone asked me, hey, Nick, give me a team outside of the top 10 who could be a Cinderella this year out at Hutch, who could be this year's Wallace State that we fall in love with. And I was thinking to myself, all right, what's the formula here? What are we looking for? So I was like, give me some tough guards. Give me some tough guards. How about some versatile forwards who can shoot a little bit? And how about a big guy inside that can bang? I think you guys check all three of those boxes. I'm absolutely in love with that core group of guys that you play. I saw him sharing the sugar last night. A lot of good passing. You got those big, strong guards. Maybe not big in height, but stature. Like R.J. Chapman, tough dude. Brandon Ivory. I'm gonna call him Shabangu. I hope I got that right.
Got
I
it.
think I see some guys who aren't going to be intimidated if they see a team from West Texas or Kansas or Florida. Like I think you guys could seriously do some damage.
Yeah, and I mean, you hit kind of the big three, but we bring a bang a guy off the bench, and he has a 7 foot wingspan, and he can move like no other 6'7" guy that I've been able to. Never been high major basketball, but mid major and below, that young man can do some things. So, and then even some other solid guys like the Bond. We just got a well-rounded group of individuals and a tough group of leaders and older guys. So I'm super excited about the future, obviously, but like I told the guys, I mean, Thursday is huge, and we're just about treating that next game like it's a Super Bowl.
You're a young coach. You have great experience, right? You're a JUCO product yourself. You played at Eastern Wyoming. You coached for 5 years at Limestone College, almost my neighbor in Gaffney, South Carolina. I'm just up the road in Lancaster. You probably recruited some kids in the area. Um, you guys went out and you played a great preseason schedule. And I want to highlight this because I think what you put together is a little bit different than some of the stuff we see in Oklahoma in general. So you did the Jamborees, you played some of the best name teams in the country, the Richland Thunder Ducks, who's Brandon's supporting today, the Parkland Cobras. So you took on some of the best nicknames in junior college basketball. But then you start the season with McLennan and Frank Phillips, two really heavy hitters right out of the gate. You've only played one non-NJCAA team. What is your personal theory about playing top competition and preparing your guys for region play?
Well, my theory has always been if we have a team like we do this year, and that's always the goal is to have a team that can compete at the national stage. Then I want to do them the best, like I want to do them the best service I can in getting. It's so hard to get in that large bid, anyways, in JUCO, but I want to give them a chance. And so we play. It worked out or didn't work out. We were supposed to play Blinn, and then it all got changed around when South Plains got out of the Mike Mitchell's event. So we were supposed to play different regions, but we ended up playing 10 Region 5 games. So next year I'm still learning about all that. I'm going to try to mix it up more regions so that we can have maybe a Region 6 game here or there, or maybe Region 9, someone else. So I want to diversify a little bit, but playing that tough competition is just simply that. If we can win out or win most of our games, I want to give our chance or our team a fighting chance to get in that large bid if we don't win the championship. That's my thought.
Now, I believe this is your third season at Murray State. Each year's gotten a little bit better. 12 wins year one, 16 wins year two, 16 wins right now with great things ahead. What are you looking for from this group of guys that you think you need to see between now and mid-March to take your Aggies to Hutchinson, Kansas in the national tournament?
Well, I think we've got the grit and the toughness and the defensive mindset. I think that we need to continue to develop offensively. I need to find ways to get these guys more and more confidence. Like last night, we shot 42% from three. I think that if this team can shoot 33, 35% from three on any given night, then I think there's not anybody in the nation that can say that they should beat us. I'm not saying that we win, we don't win, whatever on any given night, but if we're shooting the ball well, it's really difficult to beat us because we're going to make it hard for you to score, and we can rebound with the best of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made NEO, who's, traditionally, that zone defense. I mean, they're probably questioning themselves at some point, hey, we're going to come out of this zone because I mean, you're just hitting it in the high post and swinging the ball all over the place. Guards making nice shot fakes, extra pass. I mean, it just seemed like you were custom built to carve up a zone. So I don't know how much more zone you see the rest of the season after last night. Congratulations, you're only going to see man from now on.
I wish I felt that same way, but I think that it's just a process, and we were so intent. Obviously, NEO's so good, and we gave him so much respect that I think the guys were very focused on the game and executed it well to their credit.
3 years in the league now. I guess my final question for you before I hand it over to Brandon to ask you something, heavy hitting is, just the state of Oklahoma basketball. Some of the teams that have had the most success play a lot of JV games. They don't play a lot outside of the region. You're in the region, every day. Just talk a little bit about how you see the state of Oklahoma junior college basketball.
You're trying to trap me right now. There's a lot of really good coaches that do a really good job with their program. Nick, what else do you want to hear from me? No, I
You
think
feel, I mean,
Next question.
talking.
here's
Yeah.
honestly, Nick, here's my response to that. From
Is
year
is is
one
it
to
good?
year
Is it
three,
is it a legit league? Is it a league that people should be considering?
Nick,
That you
from
guys
year
deserve an
one to year
at-large bid.
three, it's not even close to the same league. We are NEO is legitimately a team that can compete for a national championship. We, I think, are despite Brandon Goble's opinion, we are a legitimate top 25 team, in my opinion. I think there's other team like Connor State is a really, really good club. There's Western is an unbelievable team that is I can't believe they have two losses. Like they should be undefeated in the league right now. They have two losses that you would look at in the final minutes of that game and say, there's no way they lose these games. That's how the game is. That's why we play. And, you can't really make excuses for teams and all that. But like we have this year in Region 2, the non-conference play D1 JUCO Region 2 versus Region 6, Region 5, Region 14, and what's the other one in Texas? 16? 16 or
Five,
14?
four, 5
5.
and 14.
I'm getting the numbers. Anyways, the two regions in Texas, the Missouri and the Jayhawk, we have an above 500 record. The whole of our region. The top three teams in our region are something like 21-5 or 16-3 versus all those D1 JUCOs. And those are the regions that get all of the at-large outside of Florida. So at least last year. So is Region 2 good? It's certified this year. I don't think there's any way you can argue against Region 2 being really, really good this year, because all of those regions are the regions that get all the respect from Brandon Goble. I'm joking, but you get what I'm saying. They all got the at-large bids outside of Florida, and duly so last year. But you can't sit here and say Region 2 isn't a respectable region this year when we're above 500 versus all those regions.
For sure.
And you would, I mean, I think as the season goes on, because of what you've done with your schedule, you have put yourself in the conversation to receive an at-large bid because you've only played one non-NJCAA game. So you're going to be able to put yourself in a situation where you could potentially stack a substantial amount of Division I wins, and you've played a good schedule in doing it, which I think really matters.
And it's so hard, and I don't know if we'll get it, or despite whatever we do from here on out. But I will say this: shout out to Tom McDonald, who runs that committee, he's spoken to me and probably 40 other coaches a ton in the last few weeks. They're trying to get it right. Whether, as Brandon probably knows, when you do a poll, you probably, when you do it, you get a ton of backlash and a ton of criticism, and it's silly. But so
Fine, I
you're
cry
always,
myself to
and
sleep.
it's
It's okay.
how do you rank 25 or 26 in the NJCAA? I mean, it's an impossible task. But credit to that committee right now. I think they're doing an outstanding job, and more now than ever, they're trying to get it right, not just doing the politic deal, you know?
Very good. Well, Coach, I get the hard question now.
Hit me.
And he deserves it after how he's ridiculed you today, Brandon.
You know what? I'm coming in hot, but I'm not gonna try and set you up to make friends in the league like Nick tried to do. So okay, so big win, huge win last night, right? And let's just say there happened to be an establishment in the area that you said, boys, that was a big win, and we're gonna go and treat you right. And so you pull into the Chili's parking lot.
Yeah.
What are you eating at Chili's after a big win?
You know, I've aged a bit growing because I've done many Chili's post games. I always did the chicken Alfredo. What was it? The doggone Cajun chicken Alfredo.
Yep.
That was the
Cajun
money. That was
pasta. This is
always the
back-to-back weeks of Cajun pasta. This
Tyler
is
Smith
unbelievable.
Peters. Tyler Smith Peters,
Yeah.
Cajun pasta guy.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer at Chili's if you're not just getting, like, obviously if you want to talk about appetizers and all that, but the main course, Cajun chicken pasta.
Very good.
And
Well,
Tyler Smith Peters has a national championship, so maybe you follow him in some sort of elite Cajun pasta national title club.
I love where your mind's at, Nick. I really do.
what are we washing it down with, Coach?
I go water. I'm a purist.
He's focusing on the meal itself. There's none of this exterior nonsense. You know, lots of
Keeping the main thing the
action.
main thing.
Keep the main
Yeah.
thing the main thing. The important thing the important thing.
Yeah, give me your address after this, Brandon, and I'll get you some blue and red or blue and gray Murray State stuff.
I live for the swag, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we
The
do.
MS probably doesn't compare to that logo, but it's we
Does your
go ahead.
does your mascot have a name, Coach?
Does the Aggie do the Aggies have a name? Yeah, see, man, that's the one that you're gonna get me on. Someone's
Yeah,
gonna
we'll edit this out. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Someone's gonna see this and critique me. No, I no. If it does, I don't know. We just try to win basketball games.
We just refer to you guys as the fighting Josh Davises, so whatever.
So please do. Yeah, please.
Well, Coach, keep at it. We wish you the best. We hope we see the fighting Josh Davises in the national tournament in Hutchinson, Kansas. You guys have a great team. You're fun to watch. And you guys really have a terrific YouTube broadcast that you do as well for guys like Brandon and I that can watch, anywhere in the country. So it's fun to be able to follow you guys, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you for having me on. It's a huge honor.
We love it. All right, Coach Davis, not afraid of the JUCO Jam jinx. When we return, we're going to get into the grind.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We're going to transition to talk about some of the best players in junior college basketball and guys that have moved on. First, we're going to go to the grind. We're going to talk about Antoine Hearns at Midland, having one of the best seasons in all of junior college basketball. 6'7" freshman guard from Indianapolis, 16 and a half points, 6 boards. He's just been really, really good for Midland. Brandon, what do you like most about Antoine's game?
He's putting up the stats. He's doing all the things on the court, right? But for him to really kind of continue to be that consistent presence as a player, going through the things that they went through, with the coaching change there, Isaac taking over the reins, and being able to just go to him and say, hey, we got to lean on you to help us really continue pushing this thing down the field, I think is a big deal for him, especially as a freshman coming in. I know he's a little bit older and maybe a little more mature, but he is a freshman. For your
First time going through it.
first time going through it, and they're pushing to the point now where like they're talking about how do we win a national championship, right? And so for him to pick up that mantle and take that on is a big deal.
So, I love 90s players comps, and I couldn't quite go 90s player comp for you, but I want to go back just a couple of years, and I've studied. I got in the lab and I studied. He reminds me a lot of Jay Scrubb from
Ooh.
John A. Logan. Now, that might be some high praise for a young man, but similar body types, similar movements. This kid, if you kind of project out a freshman where he could be 3 years down the line, this is a kid that has the potential at 6'7", a guard, to have a lot of options in front of him. So I'm very bullish on Mr. Hearns.
When you go into the lab like that, how many Mountain Dew zeros before you come out? That's
It's going to be several, and I'm not afraid to hit a C4 or maybe a Ghost Energy as well. I prefer the Ghost Energy Sour Pink Lemonade. It's really where a lot of my JUCO deep thoughts are formed. As we transition to the show, probably a fan of C4 and Ghost Energy himself, little Energizer Bunny, Obi Ogbum, 6'3", 180. He's at Wyoming. Terrific basketball career. He played at Northeastern. If that name sounds familiar with you, it should. Home of Dalton Knecht. Obi giving us 18.2 points a game, 45% from three, hitting 50% from the field overall, 80% free throw shooter. You know Obi well. What do you like the most about Obi?
everything. I love everything about Obi. He was a great junior college player, went to Fort Lewis, Division II, and was really good there before transferring to play for Sundance at Wyoming. He is the nicest kid in the world that also wants to just bang a three in your face and stare at you and then do it again. Like he has not just pro ability, he has NBA ability. And when you watch him play, there's some guys when you watch them get cut loose and they're running around and they're making shots or whatever, and you're just like, man, at some point, like that's going to go cold. And then what happens because they're taking bad shots or they're whatever. You watch him run around and shoot and you go, oh, well, that's a pro. And he's playing at a different level than everybody else. He's making these shots at a pro level. And there's very few people in the country that could not only take these, but make them at the clip that he's doing it. So super excited to see where he goes from here. NBA buzz is already starting to pop around a little bit on him. He may do another year of college. He may, just continue on this tear that he's on. And the NBA says, fine, you forced our hand. We're gonna figure it out.
All right, I'm going to throw two names at you. Tell me if I'm on track here. Okay.
Mm.
Once again, in the lab, had to do some research.
Mhm, mhm.
Victor Oladipo, Bobby Jackson.
Ooh, that's interesting because like Obi can run a lot of point too. He
Yeah.
can do a lot of the things like Oladipo did.
Yep.
Playing that true combo role. Like, the other
And
night,
Bobby Jackson, JUCO product, Western Nebraska.
hashtag JUCO product. And so like, there's been nights Obi's had 10 assists in a game this
Yeah.
year. He can really run that true combo role, or he says like, hey, give me the rock and I'm going to go for 30. He can do that too. So,
Some
but
NBA team is chomping at the bit to draft him in the second round.
I mean, his shooting ability is off the charts.
Yeah.
He's shooting with high volume at a 45% clip.
What
And
are they doing at Northeastern? What are they teaching?
in the water,
It's in the water, okay? It's in the water, people. If you want to
Like,
learn
you
how to
drink the
shoot,
water and you go, it's got a bite to it, but the bite is a good thing. So
I mean, to think about that, Obi went through there, Connect 4 went through there. Like that's crazy.
Had some dudes, man. They've had
Had
some
some
dudes.
dudes.
Head coach
All
too.
right. All right, we talked about two guys that don't be surprised if you see them in an NBA uniform. When we return, we're going to get into our six man.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are in the sixth man, just some closing thoughts. And today I thought it'd be fun to ask Brandon a question that has been that I've been thinking about, and I don't have a great answer to it. So for those who don't know, in the past, the NJCAA has 8 at-large selections. And prior to this year, you could only have 2 at-large per region. So like what that would look like in the real world if Northwest Florida went out and won their region title in Florida, you could only take 2 additional teams from the state of Florida, like Chipola or Daytona State. Now that's all changed. Theoretically, if Northwest Florida won the state title and Coach DeMeo was really happy, the NJCAA selection committee could take 8 teams all from the state of Florida, should they choose. As I get to my question,
So you're just trying to get me
Brandon,
in trouble. I know what's
I'm
happening.
just trying to, because our audience may not be as in tune with this as we are. So I'm trying to set the stage because my mom will want to know. Will this year be a year that a region gets more than 2 at-large selections? And why?
Yes. The answer is yes. Now, when you say yes to that, you kind of have to assume that somebody sneaks up and wins the region championship. And so some deserving teams now get in there. Somebody,
Like,
whether it's the Jayhawk, Florida, Region 5, somebody's going to go and win that championship from one of those that maybe wasn't in the conversation. And then, there's probably from one of those, there's going to be 3 teams at the end that are right in that like top
15.
16, 15
Yeah.
range. I could definitely see that coming from one of the regions.
And I think the answer is it depends. I mean, it just depends how many upsets there are.
Yeah.
I think of, whoever the Iowa winner is, most likely has to go to Glendive, Montana and play Dawson. If Dawson were to win that, Indian Hills would clearly get an at-large selection, so that would theoretically be a bid stiller. If Jones, Mississippi doesn't win their region, I think they would still be deserving of an at-large, and you could kind of go down that process. So I think a lot of it just depends on how many upsets there are in the region district tournaments. But I think I think more so than anything, I think it keeps more teams in the conversation for longer, which I think is ultimately a good thing for junior college basketball. I don't know how it ultimately plays out, just from kind of following it over the last 30 years and knowing how many upsets generally take place. I'm going to take the other side, and I'm going to say much to do about nothing. Nobody gets 3. Nobody gets 3. It's there. It's there. It's a break glass in case of emergency option that they have. But just knowing the way that the JUCO world works, there's going to be 3 or 4 upsets, and there just won't be enough spots to go around.
See
And
that.
someday the tournament goes to 32, and it's a moot point. But here we are at 24, and those 8 at-large spots are just so incredibly difficult to get.
No, for sure. Well, my sixth man is less serious and more fun. I just need to share with you, so we got the final four coming up. Um, Now I couldn't do this for Hutch because we have those stunningly beautiful NJCAA polos that we wear on screen.
Size medium.
Medium, but for the final four, where I can just go nuts, I bought a wardrobe, a repertoire, if you will, for the final four, and I need to share with you what
Please.
I got planned out to wear. So the first thing that we have,
Producer Zach is so nervous right now.
yeah, the first thing that we have is a Dennis Rodman black Chicago Bulls t-shirt, hashtag JUCO product Dennis Rodman. And you know what? Quite honestly, at this moment, for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the school he went to because it is uh, uh, no longer has athletics and it's called something else now. But hashtag JUCO product Dennis Rodman. That's number one. Number two is a Larry Johnson Charlotte Hornets
Mm.
Slam magazine cover t-shirt. So we got hashtag JUCO product Larry Johnson.
Cook County Junior College, Cook County.
Cook
Dennis
County.
Rodman.
Oh, that's
Larry
right.
Johnson, Odessa.
Larry Johnson, Odessa. I'm going to save this next one and then I'll jump back. We've got the Cedric Ceballos above the rim slam dunk contest, Ventura College hashtag JUCO product shirt, famous of the Phoenix Suns. And then what is likely your favorite of these, because I couldn't find anything with the Matrix. But we've got the Steve Francis Houston Rockets slam
Mm.
cover shirt.
Yeah, that's amazing. And a fan of the show,
Yeah,
and he was kind enough to spend some time with us last year at Hutchinson, Kansas. Super nice guy, doing some really cool things in the community. Very involved with Allegheny Community College still today. He's got a pretty thriving construction business. So it's really cool to see Steve giving back, and man, what a special and fun player he was during his prime.
absolutely. So I'll be running around the Final Four, juking it up.
Hey,
In
and you're going to be in Hutch, and if you would like Brandon to wear some of your swag, send him a DM, and he'd be glad to wear it on the show. He's looking for some. Do you have like a wish list? I'm sure someone at Vincennes can send you some sort of number 31 Vincennes swag. So what gets confusing is some people think number 31 at Vincennes is synonymous with Sean Marion. However, there was a time when people knew that as Ricky Cabrera.
Ooh.
So, friend of the show, head coach at Northwestern State, JUCO product, former coach at Tallahassee. So, I don't know. Let's just get you a number 31 Vincennes shirt and let people guess. Is it the Matrix? Is it Baby Matrix,
Right.
Ricky Cabrera? There's no wrong answers.
I can decide.
They have an AD. They'll work it out. All right. Brandon, as always, this has been a special episode. Thank you for your time. Hope everybody tunes in to some of the games that we mentioned coming up this week. Check out the Battle of Buddy Hammer. Everybody have a great sports week.